We are in October. It is Johannesburg Pride Month. And because I love celebrating people that I know are really cool and I love, I invited Tiffany to spend time with me today. Boo, boo, boo,
Poo, poo, poo,
boo.
poo. Dab.
Yeah.
Guys, me, I'm still dabbing in
Yeah.
2023.
No, I don't think people still tap Tiff.
No.
Okay, please tell my people who you are, Tiffany.
Hello, I'm Tiffany Kagoremugo. Hey guys, right now, what am I? I'm just trying to exist because lifing is lifing.
Yeah.
But I am a curator of Holla Africa. I am a podcaster of basically life. And what's the last thing I do? Sometimes I throw books together,
Yeah.
right? So I am the author of Quirky Quick Guide to Having Great Sex.
Quirky quick guide to having great sex.
Yes.
And I don't think we talk about great sex enough in our community.
We don't.
We're always talking hardships. When it comes to pride, we're talking hardships, we're talking the struggle, we're talking marching, we're talking after parties,
Right.
but never great sex.
Never. It's because actually a lot of people think that queer people automatically have great sex. Because, it's that whole rumor of like, the lesbians are the ones orgasming all the time, right?
Yes.
But like, you know what, fam? Queer sex education is why I have a job. Do you know I can actually pay my bills because you people be running these streets mad.
Yeah.
Just running wild in these streets.
Yeah.
So like, no, we actually don't talk about like how to have great sex because we don't have sex education. So
we don't.
we really don't.
It's like safe sex, for instance, because that would be my interest
Yeah,
as a doctor.
You're like, that is my purview.
Yes, and also when we talk about safe sex, we exclude lesbians.
Yes.
Again, we talk about condoms, we talk about vaccines, we talk about this, but we never talk about what safe sex means for the lesbian community.
I don't even know if I should be this person, but like, I am one of those people who, even with my whole big age, my whole big career, like it took ages to genuinely get into safe sex. It took going into my what I called my slutty pumpkin phase. Like I talked a good game. Like you should see me on the internet, guys. Dental dams, guys. Finger cuts.
Yeah.
Also, they're very hard to procure.
They are. Like even government, I'm sure, is not even thinking of them, or they will never think of them.
No, you have to go to Discam. Is it Discam?
Yeah.
I don't know. But like, it's one of those things you need to know somebody.
Yeah, like know somebody who knows where they got it.
Right.
But how did you get into the work, Tiff? This is you. Where are you from?
Oh, so I'm from Kenya.
You are from Kenya.
Yes.
How does a girl from Kenya find themselves talking lesbian, safe sex, and
I don't know.
toys?
I don't know because sometimes somebody says like Uranus and I giggle. Like, guys, I'm such a conservative Kenyan girl. I'm very stressed by my own career.
Yeah.
I'm so stressed by my own career. But it started, I guess, like with any good journey, baby's first girlfriend.
Yes.
Dumpster fire of a relationship. Fast forward to being like, okay, I might be queer. So I went all academic and I started writing for the newspaper in university.
Okay.
And
which university?
UCT.
In UCT. Okay.
So I was at UCT and I started writing for the newspaper and then I became opinions editor. And my two things were sex and politics.
Yeah.
And then one day it felt like the politics just fell away.
Right.
And then, all of a sudden you have a brand. Like, you've almost been typecast. So now it became a thing of like I was writing about sex a lot.
Okay.
And then so now while I was writing about sex, during that time in university, I also started Holla. And Holla was just supposed to be a blog, like where people could share stories. But like the stories we saw, because it was just coming against that whole thing of like being like a lesbian, but back then everyone was a lesbian. No one was queer.
Yes.
No one knew they were bisexual. Everyone was just a lesbian.
Yeah.
So it was a case of like, we asked people to submit stories and we thought everyone would submit like a whole bunch of different types of stories and things like that because we wanted more narratives than just like, violence and this and that. But people mostly like submitted sex stories and some were good, but some were like, what is this fresh hell? So that's when like with Holla we started doing a lot more work around like the educational part of it, because we also realized that we didn't know how to have sex, we didn't know how to date. Me and my partner like of 13 years now we'd started, and the things we were doing in our relationship, I'm even embarrassed to like think about it. And so we just started thinking a lot more about the fact that even with like the whole like queer community, yes, we do need to educate about rights and we do need to educate about all those other things, but like the interpersonal is so important,
Yes.
and how people relate and engage with each other, because we don't have a framework for that, like generally in society.
Yeah.
But then even with the queer community, it's even worse, because now you come out, and that's why like you find a lot of people later on in their lives are doing, they're like grown folk. They've got degrees, they've got mortgages, but they're running the streets like teenagers.
Yeah.
It's because you never got
They never
to
got to experience it. And maybe let's dive deeper into what is Hola. You know, the name came up a few times. What is Hola? How did it come about? And what does Hola do?
So Holla is like, to go back to that thing, it's like an edutainment platform. So it's an edutainment and like archive platform. So we want we have the archive part, which is like stories and where we've got the books and the blog and the whatever. But then there's the other part of Holla, which is about like giving information, right?
Yeah.
So we'll have on the website, for example, we'll have like articles about asexuality, or gender terms you should know, or ways in which to navigate your non-monogamy, or different types of lube you should use, or taking care of your sex toys, but like in a very fun and accessible way.
Yeah.
Because sex like has been made to be very scary.
Yeah.
Or we don't talk about it, or it's very like, it's quite clinical, right?
Yeah.
So it's sort of like, you know what, if you're having sex, here are 10 facts you need to know about STDs.
Yeah.
Which is great, but like sometimes you just want to get information as if it's your best friend giving it to you over Chardonnay. So
Yeah.
that's what Holla is about, like your best friend who's drinking wine with you giving you sex
Giving
advice.
you sex advice. Hola did amazing work recently. Like, is it the mastermind? Is it related to the work that Hola does? And maybe tell us more about that.
So with masterminds, it's the archive part of Holla.
Okay.
Because like the way we said with Holla, we wanted to move away from only having a very small narrative around queer people. And we realized that with queer people, well, not we realized, but we've always known that with queer people, so multifaceted, doing so many things. And yes, your queerness is a part of it, but it's not the whole of it.
Okay.
So with masterminds, it was all about telling different stories and different narratives, and showing how people are titans and like amazing entities within their specific fields.
Yeah.
And these fields are not them being an activist. It's not them running some like specifically queer thing. They're just there.
They're just existing.
They're just
and doing great.
Doing great in that realm, and it has nothing to do with their queerness, or maybe it does, but like it's not the focus. Because as queer people, often, especially like I know it happens a lot with me, I'll be asked to be somewhere and I'm the queer person.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
Right? And it becomes, even though they've asked me, like, I don't know, in my capacity as
as a curator.
As a curator, or a communications conference, or a book festival, I'm still the queer person. So I'm on the queer panels, or the queer, and it was just a case of like, what is it when it's the other way around?
Yes.
So like, yes, you're queer, but
what do you do?
what do you do? Are you a DJ?
How are you,
You're
how
a
you,
doctor?
how are you impacting the world?
Yes. So like that's what the Mastermind series was about.
And how many people did you get to put stories
So
on?
season 1 is 11 people.
Yeah.
And so now we're starting to film season 2 in like a couple of months, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
So we did the series in 3 countries:
Okay.
Kenya, South Africa, and Ghana.
Oh, beautiful. Yes.
And we had a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah.
We had DJs and space creators. We had a musician. We had a photographer.
Yeah.
We had a makeup artist who does, that sort of makeup that where you transform completely.
Or like maybe someone was in an accident type makeup in a movie.
No, like movie makeup.
Yeah.
So they do the cosplay makeup.
Okay.
So like there'll be like different superheroes and stuff like that.
Nice.
So we had like an array of people we had somebody who's a Kane Prize judge.
Okay.
So it's just people like in different realms doing different things.
And where are these stories showcased?
So they're on YouTube and they're on the website.
Okay.
Yeah, so like they're very like short, sharp interviews, just like going through, and the folks just telling their stories and telling like how they got to the place that they're at, why like the things that they do are important to them. And the beautiful thing is, in each interview you kind of see where their like background and where their identity comes in. and guys, people just have like really powerful stories, hey?
Yeah. Who's your target audience and what's your motivation, behind doing the work that you do?
So my target audience. So I, whenever I'm like asked, I'm always like, I do it for the queens and the queers,
Yeah.
right? So like that is my primary target audience. It's sort of like one of those for us, by us things.
Yes.
And then there is that added sort of element of showing the broader world as well, that
Okay.
we have just this sort of like just beautiful like and guys, now rainbow, I
Yeah.
know rainbow queerness, yes,
Yeah.
but like just sort of this array and broad way of existing. And I
Yeah.
think that's one of the most important things for me with Holla,
Yeah.
is just showing the array of ways that we exist,
Yeah.
and also just unpacking the intimate ways that we exist and showing that there's so many ways that there's overlap with the quote unquote non-queer world.
Yes.
And that, you know what, actually we're all a little bit queer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is a bit of queer in all of us.
There really is. There really is.
Thank you for allowing me to celebrate you, because I know when I invited you, like, why,
Yeah.
why do you want me there? Because I feel like you're celebrating other people so much through the work that you do, but no one takes the time to celebrate you and say, we see you. We
If you
really
see me, send me wine. That's all I ask.
Yes,
Send me wine.
we see you and we appreciate you, and we know that your work is across Africa. It's not even just here, in South Africa, but you are touching people's lives and really making an impact with the work that you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, and enjoy Joburg Pride and all the events that are surrounding.